we've got a Brock shooting a Mr. P shot, throwing down a Jesse turret, spawning a mini Bruce. What the what? Mr. P, he's not a penguin. In fact, we may not have ever even seen Mr. P yet. Yeah, I've got some conspiracy theories about Mr. P, as well as some really odd things that you guys pointed out in the Brawl Talk that I completely missed. But once I analyzed it frame by frame, things became a little more clear. But before we get into the theories, I got to make sure that Supercell isn't getting into my brain, so let me fix that real quick. Now that we're protected, let's get into the truth, the real truth about Mr. P that no one else wants you to know. But before we do that, a word from our sponsor, Frag Pro Shooter. Thanks to Frag Pro Shooter for sponsoring this video and helping to support my channel. Frag is a really fun shooter game that is designed specifically for mobile devices. It has everything that you would want in a shooter: first and third person views, completely adjustable controls, auto or manual shooting, and much more. The gameplay is super fast and exciting, where you go and you try to take out the enemy towers, and most importantly, you rack up them frags. You can build a deck to suit your playstyle, and with over 70 characters to choose from, you got options for days. Personally, I like to attack and bring the enemy to their knees. Grab one of my favorite characters, like this one, and just straight go on a rampage and bring them to their knees with frag after, oh yeah, juicy frag. They have awesome social features in the game, like the fan base, a place where you can connect with others and show off your awesome plays, as well as you can create a club like mine, Lex's Bandits. Right now, if you use the link in the description, you're gonna get a ton of free rewards. Just check it out. That's worth like $6 right there just for downloading and trying out Frag. So what are you waiting for? Click on the link in the description and come join me in game. All right, so Mr. P, he's a penguin, or so we've been told. But is he really a penguin? I went back and looked at the footage really closely when I was looking for something else about Brock and Mr. P and a very strange thing on the battlefield, but we'll get to that in a minute. Mr. P has a zipper on the back of his head. Now, maybe that's a zipper for his jacket, you might be thinking. Fair enough, but if that were the case, why would he have buttons on the front of his jacket? It's a button-up front jacket vest kind of thing. It's not a zippered in the back. And who has a zipper? The only thing with zippers in the back are like dresses. So unless he's got some really strange cross-dressing tendencies, I think we can safely say that the zipper in the back is not part of his jacket or dress or whatever. The only explanation for that is that he is wearing a mask. That's right, Mr. P is wearing a mask. So that begs the question, is he really a penguin at all? So moving forward with the assumption that he is indeed wearing a mask, what is underneath his mask? Now, we've seen concept art for another Mr. P skin, Agent Mr. P. So maybe Mr. P is actually a detective that dresses up like a penguin sometimes as a disguise at a hotel because he looks like he's a bellhop. I mean, that's possible. That's kind of weird, but I mean, I guess that's within the realm of possibility that he's a detective that is dressing up as a bellhop, penguin bellhop. Maybe, but what if Mr. P is actually related to another brawler and is in disguise? We'll get back to that theory in just a minute, but there's something else that you guys noticed that I completely missed, and I watched some of the other YouTubers' videos, even like Kairos. He said he went over it frame by frame, but we all missed this. Or at least I haven't seen anybody else that has noticed it. But Brock does indeed shoot a Mr. P shot, like you guys mentioned in the comments. I saw that comment, I thought, no, they've got to be wrong. Let me go back and look at it. But no, you're right. He actually does indeed shoot a Mr. P shot. It bounces and it does the splash. It's absolutely a Mr. P shot and Brock shoots it. So I thought, okay, And so I dug a little bit deeper, and there is a very interesting item that is thrown. As you can see right here, it's thrown. It lands. It has like 3,900 hit points. And then instantly right next to it, something appears with 2,100 hit points. That has to be the spawner that Frank alluded to. He said,
his super is a spawning item, and from this item you have little penguin drones spawning, and these then go on and attack enemies with a ranged attack.
So let's move forward with the assumption that that is indeed the spawner that Mr. P throws. This is all getting kind of weird because Brock shoots a Mr. P shot. He throws down a item which looks like Dragon Knight Jesse's turret, and then something spawns with 2,100 hit points. But it gets better, because if you fast forward a couple frames, you'll notice that there is a tiny miniature Bruce. At least that's what it looks like. It looks like a little tiny Nita bear. It looks like Bruce, but like miniature and 2,100 hit points. So we've got a Brock shooting a Mr. P shot, throwing down a Jesse turret, spawning a mini Bruce. What the what? Here's a theory. What if Mr. P is actually a shapeshifter? Maybe one of his ultimates is to disguise himself as another brawler. Really, who is Mr. P and what does he do? Who is he really? He's got a mask. He's hiding something. Mr. P, he's a villain. I'm telling you right now, Mr. P is a villain. He's not on the up and up. This much we know. He's not straightforward. He's hiding something. Who else wears a mask? Shapeshifts as other brawlers. Mr. P. That's who. Okay, in all seriousness, Mr. P, it is weird that he has a zipper on the back of his head. It's definitely some sort of mask. But the other part, I can actually explain that away for you guys. Here's what happens. Whenever brawlers are created, they are using another brawler's model. They haven't done the artwork for the animation and all the good stuff. Like, say, for instance, whenever Frank was coming into the game, I remember playing him back, it was like at the global launch stream, his model was actually El Primo. I mean, you played, the abilities were Frank, but the animations and the model were El Primo. My money, what's happening here is Brawl Stars screwed up. That's what happened. Brawl Stars screwed up. Because I bet you what happened here is Brock was actually Mr. P, but he didn't have his skin yet. He didn't have the model for his brawler yet, so they were playing him as Mr. P, so this must have been older footage. And they didn't realize that Hot Rod Brock was actually Mr. P. They recorded it, and they even put it out. They even missed it. I guarantee you that's what happened. I don't know that actually. I can't guarantee. I didn't ask Brawl Stars, but this is what makes sense to me. I remember when Penny came out, she was actually, her turret looked like Jesse's as well, but it shot like barley soup or his bottles. They do that. This is how they develop brawlers internally. So I bet you that Mr. P was actually Brock in a Brock skin. They just didn't realize it. So he shot a shot, and the turret that he threw and spawned his penguin drones. They haven't finished the penguin drone brawl concept either, or at least the animations and the model. So they just like made a miniature Bruce, which I think is hilarious. So I'm pretty sure that's what's happening. On the good side, it looks like that we know how much health the penguin drones will have, 2,100. Of course, this is all 100% subject to change. This is obviously a very early model of it. So little mini Bruce is there with 2,100 hit points coming out of a Jesse turret. I mean, can you really bank it on it? Probably not, but I mean, let's just run with that. That is what it's going to be. Miniature penguins with 2,100 hit points coming out of a turret. They spawned, it looked like pretty instantly. We only saw one spawn, but we're only talking about like 6 frames of video. So who knows exactly what the rate's going to be, if they're going to change it. It looked like he was throwing something, and they did say he was going to attack from range. Couldn't really tell what it was, but there you guys go. Mr. P has a secret. Brawl Stars screwed up, and we got it on tape. Well, that's going to be it for this video. You guys let me know your conspiracy theories in the comments down below. Who do you think Mr. P is? Do you think he's hiding something? I think he is. Stay tuned for more sneak peeks. Be sure to subscribe, turn on those notifications. And if you want to be super awesome, use code LEX in the shop. But that's going to wrap it up for the video. Hope you guys enjoyed it. And as always, until next time, I'll catch you guys on the flip side. Peace out.